How's it going? It's about 9:15 on a Thursday night. I'm eating Rebel ice cream. Probably not good for you, but it's not bad for you. It's got low carbs. And when you get to a certain age, you got to start watching that kind of stuff. There was a time when I was young, I could eat anything I wanted. In fact, I had a hard time gaining weight. I could eat, 2 hamburgers and half a pizza. 3, 4 candy bars and 6-pack of Coke. And I couldn't gain weight. But as you get older, things change. And I can gain weight by looking at hamburgers and pizza now. So you got to do the carb thing and just try and stay away from sugar. But that reminds me, when I was in my probably late 20s, early 30s, I had a wife and had 3 little kids. One was older. She was 11, 12 by then. When I was a worship leader, and we used to have a small group, a Bible study at our house. Actually, it was a large group. It was about 20 people would show up. And this went on all the time, and we would go over books and, do marriage seminars. And the kids would all play in another room. I sacrificed a lot, drove an old car, worked extra, and, did extra work on the weekends and stuff. Because I wanted my kids to be in a nicer home, in a nicer neighborhood, and to grow up, with things that I didn't grow up with. So we had a nice house that had a living room and a family room. So during the Bible studies, the kids would all, go back in the family room and, play games and stuff like that while we had our studies in the living room. And this went on for a long time, and we would pray and we would, see wonderful things happen and people got saved and, we'd do a little music beforehand. But there was one time in particular when everybody was hungry for some reason and we didn't have a lot in the fridge, so we started praying about it. And my wife went into the pantry to see what we had. And she came out with 3 things in her hand. She says, I have 1 box of spaghetti. It was a regular small box of spaghetti. I have 1 jar of spaghetti sauce. And I have a loaf of bread, and we have butter and, garlic and stuff like that. So we put those things in the center table there, and we all gathered around, and we prayed on these. And there was 20 of us, plus the kids. Okay, there was probably 8, 9 kids in there. So my house was full. And we started praying around it, God, we know you have the power. God, we have seen you do it before. We know you can stretch this to feed all of us. So, look, I got it on me. So, and we prayed for it. And my wife, being the faithful person that she was at the time, got a big stock pot, put it on the stove, fill it up with water. Started the water boiling. And we were talking. We were, making Kool-Aid or iced tea or something for everybody to drink. And coffee, I always had coffee. And we would butter bread and put, garlic salt and, garlic on it. And stack it up, until like 10 pieces and wrap it in foil and put it in the oven. And it comes out to be really good poor folk garlic bread. And they were doing that, and nobody was paying attention, and water finally went to boiling, and just took that whole box of spaghetti and just poured it in there. One of the regular, I don't know how big they are, but a small box, and boiled the spaghetti. And got to boiling it, and everybody was talking and laughing and having a good time. And when it went to boil, he took, one of the big guys took the big stock pot and put the lid on it, went over to the sink and poured the water out. And he opened it up again, and then, opened that jar of, ragu sauce or whatever, and just dumped the bottle in there and started stirring it. And I kept stirring it, and just stirring it. He was talking and, stirring it up and getting it all mixed up. And finally said, okay, it's done. And by that time, the bread was done, it has to bake for roughly so many minutes. And so we took it out. It was 2 packages of bread wrapped in foil. Opened it up. It was all steamy and smelled good. We had a package of paper plates, plastic forks. I didn't have enough silverware for everybody. And we prayed over it again. And, we said grace. And God, thank you for providing this food. Thank you for feeding all of us, Lord, because we know you can feed 5,000 with 5 loaves and a couple of fish. We know you can feed us with 1 box of spaghetti and 1 jar of sauce. So we started dishing out the spaghetti. Yeah, my wife was, taking a big spoon, putting a big pile of it on paper. I said, honey, there's not going to be enough. I was kind of, because, I didn't want it, and I wasn't eating till last, but. And everybody got, a big plate of spaghetti. 28 people. The 8 kids didn't have as much as a thing, but 28 people, and, sat around on all the couches and outside and stuff and eating and we got filled up, Everybody had their fill. We was going back for seconds and stuff. And when everybody was done and was cleaning up, the lid was on the pot, and, nobody thought about it. Everybody, finished throwing the stuff away. One of the other girls there, the lady said, open up the lid. And she said, hey, everybody, come and look at this. And, we gathered around. The stove was on a peninsula, so, we could get a bunch of people around it. And we opened that pot, and it was still full of spaghetti. Like the same amount. It's like this much in a stock pot, like this much. And that's a lot, And one of the things of bread, it was only, 10, 11 slices in each one, wasn't even opened yet. And we're all like, did you eat? Yeah, I ate. And everybody ate, and everybody was full. And it was like, wow, that's unbelievable. And I didn't have a lot of groceries for that week. And we were able to eat spaghetti, my wife and family and 3 kids. For the next 3 days, we were able to eat spaghetti for dinner, which my kids didn't mind. My kids love spaghetti. My son not so much, but he ate it anyways. But for the next 3 days, we ate that spaghetti and bread. And everybody got filled up on 1 little box of spaghetti. It was amazing. Things like that happen all the time. But if you pray and expect miracles, you'll get miracles. It just, that's the way it goes. You're always going to get miracles if God can be glorified. And God was glorified at that study. It was amazing. But that was a spaghetti miracle. And there are plenty more. As I think of them, I'll tell the stories. Short stories. I have a short attention span, so it's more fun to tell short stories, But lots of stuff happened. a lot more coming. But remember, love God and keep your coffee warm. We'll see you next time.